for Omega, my maker.
Hello everyone and welcome back to the channel, a channel that is all about Christ. If you're new here, thank you so much for joining us. But if you're stopping by, please do consider subscribing and joining this family all about making Jesus proud over here. This is the channel you want to join, but if you're part of the family, you already know. I love and appreciate you. Thank you so much for coming back. So today we are talking about who takes over the church if the founder of the church dies. Okay, let's get right into it. Okay, so specifically we're talking about ministries, right? When the founder of the church dies, especially let's say he suddenly dies unexpectedly, it's a car accident, like something quick. Who takes over the church? Okay, so I saw somewhere, right? Another brother talking about the church is not a family inheritance, right? So it's not automatically that if a pastor dies and then his wife or his children take over the church, right? That should not be the case. So today we are here to talk about that, because I partly agree with him, but I don't also. I think also based on the experience I've had or I've seen, yeah. Okay. So I have two sides on this, right? Personally. Obviously the church belongs to Christ. Okay, let's read this word and start there. Ephesians chapter 1, verse 12. Uthi, God has put all things under the authority of Christ and has made him head over all things for the benefit of the church. Christ is the head of the church, right? Whoever takes over the church next needs to make sure Uthi, it's still a Christ-centered church. It's still about Christ. That is their duty, right? But again, if we see yega on a more spiritual level, see later, we obviously have pastors that are serving in this church. We have deacons, we have elders, right? We have a board, right? People who decide matters of the church, right? We also have his wife that is involved in part of this board, right? As a co-founder of the church, as a co-founder of the ministry, right? And then the pastor suddenly dies. Who takes over? Does his wife take over? Is the wife supposed to be the one who takes decisions after that? Is the board the one supposed to take a decision after that? The deacons, the elders, are they the one who's supposed to sit and pick a pastor from the pastors we're submitting under this man of God, and then pick one of them to be now the leader of the church? Okay, the reason why I have two sides to this. It's because, okay, fair, most churches ibodi yahlala, and then they discuss. But okay, since we have a Pastor Sbia, we have a Pastor Ndlovu, we have a Pastor Ngubani esingam bega in charge now, kube nguye party bandla, right? And then ibodi decide and take that decision. It's okay, sekuzoba Pastor Sbia osilidai, right? Which is good. I don't necessarily I disagree with that, but my problem is most of the time the vision of the church now changes, right? Because obviously Usbianaye has his own views, right? He has indlela naye afuna ukulida ngayo. He has nje naye he's a like an entire person with his own opinions, with his own ideas, and obviously there were certain things maybe ubaba here and there, he should do things like this, right? So now the direction of the church, it's likely that it can drastically change, right, to a whole different direction that the church was not expecting, right? And like I'm saying, I've seen this now usibiya makathatha, right? Obviously usibiya naye he hears from God. Obviously usibiya naye he's called. Obviously usibiya naye he's allowed to implement izinto zakhe, right? Since he's the one manje olid ibandla. But also there is a vision in this church, right? It's called faith. It's called Jesus Center for a reason, right? uNkulunkulu has laid a foundation, a vision to this man obekaphethe ministry, right? So if usibiya naye sayithatha sayijika ishonisa lena khona, because now abazalwane bayaphuma, abazalwane kuba nalokuya nalokuya, it could be ukuthi abazane baphumiswa ukuthi abamthanda uSibiya, which is just wrong. But also it could be ukuthi siphunyiswa ukuthi uSibiya now has taken a whole different direction. Like it doesn't feel like the church we know, right? It doesn't feel like, yeah, we're powerful. Yes, he's preaching powerfully. Yes, he's doing all these things, but it feels like it's no longer the church that we know since Pastor Sibiya has taken over, because now he has taken the church to a whole new direction, right? Which is my number one problem, right? Yes, I do agree with, okay, Akunike, one of the pastors, obviously, Basevile and Dubaba, they know the vision, they know whatsoever. But also my fear is Usibiya now taking the church, literally making it his own, ashinje everything about the church. And then Tina, as a Bazalwane, who have been here, now it feels like erase ubaba, right? And that can rub us the wrong way, because truth is, yes, ibandla likaKrestu, but the reason why I'm here was because of this man, because of this visionary, right? I felt connected spiritually to this man. I felt connected to his vision. I felt connected to his calling, right? This is why I'm serving under him. This is why I'm trusting him with my spiritual life. And then now Usibiya takes over and changes everything. And now it feels like we are in a foreign church. It feels like Ubabunele washona now. Usibiya was erase. Okay. Number 2. I did hear omunye umfundisi athi ibandla, like the building of the church, is a property of his kids. Guyifa. It's an inheritance for his kids. I didn't necessarily agree with that, because unless yonke le building le imile wathatha imali from your pocket, then gay inheritance abantwana bakho lapho. But nakhona kunokuthi kanti weren't you doing it for God and God's people? But okay, we can argue that if uthathe nje imali yabantu abakho walakha libandla from scratch, brick by brick, until, right, if abantu abakho fair. But if not, as a church, we contributed to this building, to these chairs, to this sound system, all these things that is here, you can't necessarily say it's your children's inheritance. But gay, I do have a problem nokuthi uma mfundisi anga-acknowledge once the pastor dies. I strongly have a problem with that. I've seen it in one of the churches in Angasontango's, well, my first ever church. When our pastor died, they did not acknowledge Mfundisi. And of which is one, it's brutal. But two, it's just plain rude, because we co-founder for a reason. She knows everything about this church. At some point, this church, when it started, it was just her and her husband and her kids, right? She knows this church from the ground. She knows the vision. She knows everything about this church. Naye umjuluko wakhe is invested in this church, right? As much as umfundisi. Naye yonke into umfundisi bekahlala naye discuss uNkulunkulu uthi manje uthi asenze ukuthi bakhiphe imali yabo ephaketheni, imali yabantu ababo, and build this church and buy certain things, right? It's unfair ukuthi umfundisi masafa sekudiscuss ibhodi kuphela, akasa includewa ukuthi yena uthini, ubona kanjani, uyavumelana yini noSibiya. I don't know. But for me, it rubs me the wrong way. Ukuthi senenza ngathi lo mama does not exist in this church. Anisambuzi sekuhlala ibhodi, sekuhlala abakhulu bebandla babiziwe, akasa acknowledge ukuthi okay mama, ubaba usushonile, what is your take? Uthini? Sinike indlela, right? Uthini wena, ubeka bani etafuleni, uthini wena. Fine, every decision that we've just taken, sizoyikhulekela sicela uNkulunkulu. But while we are still talking, uthini wena mama? As a co-founder of the church. For me, I feel it's very harsh for ukuthi hayi sihlala ibhodi sokwahlela amadoda amakhulu adiscussa awasambuzi lo mama. Lo mama that has been there from the word go. Lo mama that knows ukuthi le bandla uNkulunkulu alifuna lephi. Lo mama that knows ukuthi uNkulunkulu ayihloseni ngale bandla, uNkulunkulu ayetheni kuyindoda yakhe. Fine, indoda yakhe sishonile, vele the church one or the other is going to take a certain direction ehlukile now from what uNkulunkulu said to the husband. But it can't just, it can't. It really cannot. Like bese ningasamnaki nje kube ngathi aka exist, which is what happened in my church. Like they acted that as if that woman never existed. Like azange bambuze nix baqala futhi kwaya ngokuye kwaba ngathi bam acknowledge siyabingelela Nkosi yami umam bishop kwangokuya wagcina say ordinary person, right? Wagcina nje asawumuntu nje asayi one of bomama yehla inhlonipho nje kwaphela nokuthi umndeni wakho support, because that was one of the suggestions when kukhulunywa lapha ukuthi because boyithu nomfundisi bebangasebenzi, umfundisi was a full-time minister, ibandla is supposed to still take care of them at least until abantwana bazibakhule. And then kwaloko kwaphela usungenile usibiya sithatha isonto udriver to his direction nebhodi livumelana naye akasanakwa lo mama. That is wrong. That is wrong. Okay, abantwana ngiyababona lo mama umjuluko wakhe ukule bandla. Lo mama, she has also sleepless night ngale bandla. Naye ulakhile le bandla as much as umyeni wakhe. Naye uhlalile wangalala naye bekakhala nendoda yakhe, naye bekafrustrateka nendoda yakhe, bebahlala badiscuss bakhuleke ndawonye bazile. She can't just not be part of the conversation. And obviously this is not about her. This is not about her and her husband. But I mean, fairness, guys. Fairness. This woman has built the church as much as her husband. I'm not saying she should be the one that is appointed to take over the church. That's not necessarily what I'm saying. But I'm just saying, involve her in the conversation. Uthini mama? Since when you know everything about this church, right? Uthini wena? Bekathini ubaba manikhuluma in those conversations. Ngubani bekambona as someone ongaqhubeka nale ministry? Ngubani bekamthemba enough ukuthi angamqhubekela nale ministry, right? And then we pray over that. We take it from then. Also when uthini ubaba wayethanda ukuthi kushiwe uhlophe. Uthini wena? Nkulunkulu silekelele. Ubaba Jehovah then helps you guys as a church moving forward. But to not acknowledge this woman is crazy business to me. To act like this woman was never involved. Shame. Amabandla can be brutal. So the mama was never part of the conversation. Akamelapha. So discuss nini amadoda amakhulu ebandla, discuss nini ababiziwe, akasafakwa as part of the conversation when this woman umgogodla wale bandla. I don't know. Also, guys, when you're talking about maybe umfundisi should put it in the world ukuthi ngubani ozosala nebandla, or abhali ukuthi unkosikazi wami will be the one who decides, right, to take over the church. And take it from there. Akushiye kuwill. Athi nje decide the next pastor is my wife, right? Nina nonke nizozwa ngayo, because boards can be brutal. They can be brutal. They can be. For me, it's crazy. It's crazy to act like this woman was never part of the church. It's crazy to act like this woman didn't put much effort as her husband in building this church. And because now the husband has died, umfundisi useshonile, lo mama akasa exist. For me, that's crazy. I like sometimes izinto ezenzayo ibhodi seyihlela pha siyadiscuss. Abahleli bafundisa abakhulu bayadiscuss. Sebenza ngathi lo mama ka exist. Lo mama lo was everything about this ministry. Lo mama was sweat abawafakile in this ministry. Lo mama ke wasonta nendoda yakhe boy-2 for a month. Sometimes 2 months, 3 months, banendoda yakhe boy-2 bazama ukumisa le ministry. Sase siyafika ke thina nagcotshwa na-appointwa, and then namhlanje lo mama is no one in this church. Akasanaka ngoba indoda yakhe seyishonile. I don't know. So I think my conclusion is, for me, umamfundisi akabe involved. I honestly, genuinely feel like she should be involved. Ungumgogodla webandla, right? Akabe part of the conversation, right? Akhulume naye asho ukuthi ubaba bethini, ubaba bengafisani, baba ngibani bengamthemba kakhulu. Go appoint to that person, nani can argue, but akabe part of the conversation umama. Akabuzwa, aka-acknowledge ukuthi ukhona as a co-founder. Akungabe kuba ngathi umama nje indaba yakhe ayikho. Okay, umama usembekile kuhlophe, mhlawumbe niyaphikisana nohlophe uthi hey mama kodwa uyayibona ini behavior yahlophe here and there. Siya complain ngohlobo. right? Thina besibeka uNdlovu, right? Nambuza naye, it's a conversation. Nibeka uNdlovu, nibeka uHlophe. Okay, let's go back to God. Let's go and pray. uNkulunkulu asivezele ukuthi ngubani ongaba nguye between the two. Then you take it from there, right? Ku-appoint umama ukhona. Uyagcotshwa uNdlovu officially umama ukhona. uNdlovu uyatshelwa ukuthi la ibandleni umkakho akwazi ukuphakama more than the founder of this church. Lo mama lo umkakho akakwazi ukubese enza ngathi senguye ngathenda waqala lebandla. Ukhona lo mama. Lo mama uyaqhutsheka uya-acknowledge labandleni. Right? Not because of her pride, but because siyamhlonipha la ebandleni. If in the country once wakwaba president siyokuhlonipha until even izindabeni noma kukhulunywa ngawo, it's always referred as the previous president, right? But la ebandleni lo mama akasala nje afana bomama bonke. It's wrong, guys. It's really wrong. Kodwa mama sowugogo wala ebandleni manje, right? Lo mama lo ufuna ahleza khona, ufuna acknowledge nabafikayo ebandleni bazi sisisalukazi sethu la ekhaya esaqala lo mbono. Akakwazi lo mama besafana nje nabomama bonke nje naye angene nje ayihlalelele emuva nje awubuke nje umsebenzi nje awenza nendodi yakhe kube ngathi nje akase kwenzeke. Lo mama ka acknowledge umkakho Ndlovu sowuthathile akazi ukuthi wisdom uzoyithatha kulo mama, right? I-directions uzoyithatha kulo mama. Lo mama akaqhubeka abe part of the conversations zokuthuthuka kwebandla. Akaqhubeka abe part of the board. Akaqhubeka abe part of every conversation ethathwayo labandleni. Mbuzeni, involve her. Akakwazi ukuthi bese kuba ngathi nje yena akakasa abakhona. uNdlovu akayithatheke agijime nayo ke manje, right? And I strongly believe ukuthi uNdlovu if akayenze naye from his power, from his pride, ukuthi kuphethe mina manje ayithatha noma ngabe direction of the church shift, but if this is where uMoya Ngcwele wants us to go, ibandla will adjust. But if ayithatha vele from ukuthi kuphethe mina manje bathi angidlali ke mina ibheka le vele yile nto ezoyenza sesiqale siyalahleka. Abanye baphuma kwamanye amabandla, abanye they genuinely lahleka, like ahamba ohlala ekhaya dakho. Right? So these are the things ekufuna sibe cautious of. Umfundisi seshonile, we need to make sure le mphefumulo ayilanda kanzima wayiletha la. Ayingabe siyalahleka. So much so that even if umuntu uyaphuma ke angamane kwelinye ibandla angaphuma hlale. That is our responsibility that we need to take. Ukuthi umfundisi akwazi ukuthi asebenze kangaka. Wonke lo msebenzi awusebenzele bese kuba ngathi it was in vain. We need to continue his legacy, the work that he was doing, and even do more. Right? But asisigcine isithunzi sakhe, asisigcine umsebenzi wakhe umuhle. Siphethe bazongizwa kahle ke. Mina ngidlala uvela uthatha ibandla libhekisele and then abazalwane balimala abanye baphume kube imess. I don't know. So for me, yes, another pastor should be appointed. I am not necessarily saying the wife should be appointed, especially because I've seen a lot of bomamfundis, and personally Nam, I would not appoint them for my personal reasons. But she must be involved. Bakhona abafundisi bala ebandleni ababaseva under the man of God, that we anointed by the man of God, that we're trusted by the man of God. Let's pick there, but she should be part of the conversations. She should not be left out. She should not be mistreated now that her husband has died. So, yeah, that is my take. What is your take? What do you think? Should the pastor involve it in a will? Should the pastor say it ebandleni way before he even gets sick or die or anything? Should he be something that he mentions now and again with, should I die, uPastor Sibiya will be the one that takes over? Sazi sonke ebandleni. Should the body only be the one that decides ukuthi ngubani, or should the woman of God still be acknowledged? What is your take? Let's talk, let's have a conversation. I want to hear your view, because I'm here like ngikabili. So I want to hear what is your take. Please comment down below. Please don't forget to comment, like, share, and subscribe. It is very important. Comment down below. Let's talk. Let's have a conversation. I can't wait to hear what you say. I love you so much for watching. But Jesus love you more. Definitely see you next time on my next video. Bye.